Okay, so this is that. I don't know if you ever heard of Shev Shmaytsa before. Shev Shmaitsa is a book of Lomdus. It was written by the Ktosa Choshen, and it goes through different topics. Seven sugyas. Shev Shmaitsa means seven sugyas in basic halacha. And as the Lomdus, the basic halacha. I should say basic Lomdus, not basic halacha. And Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said about the Shev Shmaisa that the reason why it's such a phenomenal and enduring work is that you can argue on everything he says. So it means that it's supposed to provoke thought. So let's try it and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we can try it. Okay, so I found this one which is not in English, but it has explanations in English in it, and I don't think I will try not to use them so much, but we'll see if they're helpful. So the table of contents, which is we're first going to Perek Aleph, is the Machlokas Rambam and Rashba whether or not there's a Saferk is mutar min Torah, and this is a very basic Machlokas. The idea of Saferk d'oraisa l'chumra. According to the Rashba, that's the Oraisa. The Torah requires you to be machmir a Saferk d'oraisa. According to the Rambam, it's the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan require to be machmir Saferk d'oraisa, but midoraisa, Saferk d'oraisa is l'kula, just like a Saferk d'Rabbanan. Okay, and then the Shematsa is going to go through whether there's proof or not from Saferk Tuma. Saferk Tuma is normally refers to Saita, whether she became usher to her husband or not, because it's a suffix she was mizan or not, but we'll see. And the suffix is mutar min Torah, why do we need to possibly matter a suffix mamzer? That's a very basic question. Because if the suffix is mutar min Torah, like the Rambam holds, so then we shouldn't need a special pasuk to be matter a suffix mamzer. It should be like any other suffix deraisa, which according to him, mikra adin is l'kula. Okay, so Shmaitsa Aleph. Boyavar Sveka deraisa the Yisurin, Saferk deraisa in Isser, the Saferk Tuma Rishus Yachid, and the Saferk of Tuma which comes up Rishus Yachid, the Saferk Tuma Rishus Rabin, Usfek Svekos, and also Sfek Svekos as well. Naktina, we have an assumption or a basic axiom that Sfek deraisa l'chumra, that the Saferk deraisa have to be machmir. That's Rami Chibura Gadol, the Rambam in his great work. The Kama must the Chumra Elam B'divrei Seifim. It's only have to be machmir midrabanan. The dear Dvar Torah calls Sfeker Shaya midraisa all Sfeker submitted. B'chein das arriving. But Ram v'Rash b'chokim b'zeh b'chiku. The Zeh Shomu Sfeker deraisa Chumra min ha'Torah. The Torah itself requires to be machmir. Apri Chadash Yerodea, one of the commentaries in Yerodea. Erich Bezeh Ayin Shom Simukufiyud. Okay, much because of Pri Chodesh Zal. So Pri Chodesh wrote, "V'chein b'sofek tumashusa rabim." So we know that there's a principle sofek tumashusa yochid. You have to be machmir. Sofek tumashusa rabim, you can be mekel, right? If you have sofek where something came tamei in rishus yochid, you have to be machmir. And we learn it out from Sota, because the Torah says Sota, who by definition happens, that whole episode happens to Yachid because she has to be Misiacheres, she has to go into Yichud with a person. So Yachid, right? So there the Torah said to be machmir, assume she's also until proven otherwise by her drinking the water. But so conversely, by Saferk Tuma Shus Rabim, the Saferk Tuma takes place in a public area, we assume that it's tar. Okay, so this is a proof that midoraisa a Saferk is l'kula. Because any Saferk Tuma, which is a Rabim, you can be mekel.
How do we learn that from Sota to other Tuma?
Just so it's a good question. Let's see if he actually talks about it here. So does he bring down the okay, it doesn't bring down the source here, but it's the assumption it's either learned out from the flip side of the flip side of Saferk D'Oraisa, of Saferk to Meshus Yachid is Tameh. From that we derive that Saferk to Meshus Rabim is Tor, but it's really, if I recall correctly, it's actually not for Halacha Moshe Misinai. So Halacha Moshe Misinai that we have the Saferk to Meshus Rabim is Tor. So Lake Lamedic. So the Perek says Lake Lamedic we make as far as the Rambam. They say that there it's different because whatever object you're dealing with, let's say you have an object, you have a metal keli, which is a makabel tumor very easily, and you're not sure if it came into contact with a sheretz, which is a metamed, or a dead body, or any other avatuma. So you see that the suffix can be makel. But there, maybe it's simply because it has a cheskes tara. In other words, your object you're dealing with, at one point it was tar. You want to say it became tameh, so you're going against the chazaka. So perhaps that there we're makel, not because it's not a 50-50, it's not a true suffix because there's a chazaka involved. Now, a very important point, which is chazaka tells us how we should conduct ourselves in the absence of a rov. And when you have a suffix. Rov tells you to assume that there is no suffix. A suffix is a 50-50 balance. So we just go that way, right? The moment the balance is skewed, it's no longer considered a true suffix. So if you have a rov, this actually somebody heard many years ago from Rav Gusman, a great Rosh Hashiva in Eretz Yisrael, and it's based on Rav Shimon Shkop. If you have a rov, it's not a suffix anymore. The suffix is balanced. In the case of a suffix, where there is a balanced question, a doubt, so then you can use the chazaka to resolve your suffix. If you have a chazaka, right? The chazaka tells you this is the way to conduct yourself in a case where you have a question. And that's learned out from the Kohen leaving the house which has saras. And when he gets outside, he declares it's tameh. And he has to go outside before he makes the declaration. But the question is, in the meantime, maybe whatever he saw inside, whatever nega he saw inside has been reduced in size. In which case, it's erroneous to call it tameh. So the Torah says, no, you can rely on the chazaka that it hasn't changed. There's an assumption that whatever until proven otherwise, the pre-existing status is assumed to continue. So therefore, we learn a chazaka from there. From the fact that the Kohen can declare Torah, and even though he's outside the house already and doesn't see what's going on. Tameh, sorry, back into the Tameh or Torah. So so that's what we learn a chazaka from. So anything, which most things, if not everything, where we have a question if it became tameh or not, actually everything, that has a cheskes tara. A moment before we did something arose, that had a chazaka, right? The assumption was it's tar. So therefore, maybe the reason why suffix to Meshus Rabim is tar is because that was a chazaka. That was a pre-existing status. Okay, as it says, keep it in its chazaka. But gam lekel meimar, and you also can say the tikshe le Rambam. You subject to Meshus Yachid is feikotameh. Okay, fine. But what about the flip side? Subject to Meshus Yachid is feikotameh. That should be a right against the Rambam, because there we see the Torah said you have to be machmir in a suffix, right? You have to assume that it's also. So the Afladas Rashba, even according to the Rashba, who says the suffix D'Oraisa is l'chumei D'Oraisa. Tikshe, you should have difficult kra gabi tuma lamali. According to Rashba, why do you need a special pasuk that teaches us the halakhic Shev that she's assumed to be tmeya until proven otherwise? If all stake at the rice l'chumra, you don't need a special gesagasa. It should be the same din of Saferk l'chumra like the rest of the Torah, right? Okay, so therefore, the fact, on the contrary, it's a question according to Rashba. Why do I need a special of Saferk? The Saferk tuma Meshus is l'chumra. If anything, that should be the default assumption, because any Saferk d'Oraisa according to Rashba is l'chumra d'Oraisa. So why don't he? It's low tema ukechas kasa b'taru. So the reason there is also, according to Rashba, has to be because there the suffix also is going to cheskas tara. She is assumed to be tar. she's assumed not to have committed any act which changed her chazaka. So therefore, the fact is the Torah has, and that would work even if Savi the Raisa is L'chumah the Raisa. So therefore, you need the pasuk to tell us no, even though she has a cheskes tara, nevertheless, we have to we put her into a status of tamei. Okay, so Kamashlan that exerts custom to active in cheskes tara, but she'll say yochid, even though she has a cheskes tara, but she'll say yochid, she's tamei. Okay, but that's a ram. Remember, that's ram. That's if you have to say according to Rashba. That's ram. Avagav is chol Saferk Sha'ar rachmona. You know, every Saferk the Torah permits. Hachagav is Saferk Tumashus Yochid. Here by Saferk Tumashus Ravi have exeris hakosum the Saferk tamei. The special exeris hakosum that even though it's a Saferk, it's tamei, which according to Rambam is fine. Bikashlach nem misoita shasur misafek. So okay, fine. So the let's run out from Saita that any Saferk the Raisa is l'chumra the Raisa, just like the Saita is l'chumra. He says no. Shani osam raglayim ladavar. I can show and quote from the Brit Kodesh. So the Brit Kodesh says there's a mitigating. There's a reason why by Saita you wouldn't say Saferk the Raisa l'kula, even according to the Rambam, right? Even though Saferk the Raisa mida Raisa is l'kula, because it's raglayim l'davar. There is a smoking gun. There is at least circumstantial evidence that something went astray. So raglayim l'davar means there's not true evidence. There aren't 80, right? But there aren't 280. But there is a good suspicion, a legitimate suspicion that maybe she actually became tamei. So now we say, okay, you can't. What?
Shouldn't that override the chazaka?
What?
Shouldn't raglayim l'davar override the chazaka?
It might. Yes, that's what he's saying. People are saying since raglayim l'davar might override the chazaka. That's what the Rambam might say. That even though normally we would say Saferk the Raisa is l'kula, here we not say Saferk the Raisa l'kula. Here, even with a chazaka, we wouldn't say Saferk the Raisa l'kula. That's a regular l'davar. B'nei mashkasa pri chodesh. To be Saferk tuma b'shus rabim leikel u'melach. Right? The Shai Asim Tika Cheskes Tara. There's in Cheskes Cheskes Tara. Mevur bekam kavashem shas. The b'shus rabim is fake tor. The b'shus rabim the Saferk is tor. Afagav the leikel Cheskes Tara. That's not necessarily true. He says we know that there's cases in Shas where we find that even though there's no Cheskes Tara, it's still considered to be Torah and Rishus Ramim. Kavur b'teisis reish nida perkam the chulin daf tesa mebeis ayin sham. El exeris kasu b'tuma l'tayr Rishus Ramim. Bein l'meidim isur mituma. That's a unique case that we say it's Torah there, and we don't learn from isur to tuma. Let's see what he says here in point 9. Maybe he brings down the sources here. Where is point 9? Maybe it's page 9. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. We see many page right. The same place in Shas, it was just a rabbin. So his story, even when there's no Cheskes Tara, explained by Tosfos. Why can't those places be approved to the Rambam? It doesn't say what it doesn't say what the cases are. Okay, let's just assume that the cases do exist. So he says, the chem is subject to Mishus Sarah Yachid Lo Tikshe. Also, I'm sorry, to Mishus Sarah Yachid can't answer the Rambam. It's not difficult anyway. The Avagav close fakes in the Torah Mutter could be even though all his fakes in Torah Mutter Gabi Saita ain't a Mishum Safek. It's not a Safek. El Kasav is Torah Mishus Yachid La Safek Kavadai. So he wants to say, you know what? First of all, like we said before, the Pri Chodesh is same in that there's Cheskes Tara, and that's what you make goes, but Shus Ram is not always true. Now he's taking a second point. He's saying, you know what, you couldn't learn. He says nothing more than the Rambam, right? So that I don't need Pri Chodesh to tell me it's nothing with the Rambam. From Saferk to Mishus Yachid, Sveika to learn out from Saita, because even though all Sveikas in Torah are mutter, by Saita, the Torah is exerts a custom that you have to assume that she definitely became Tomei. In other words, that it's even though she's not definitely Tomei, that and the Sota water will prove to us if she's Tomei or not. But it could be that there's no question, and we couldn't extrapolate from there because it's a circumstance, right? It's that is by the Torah said regard the tomb of a Soita as if it's Vadai, which could be a special exclusion, right? In other words, the it's not equal to Rambam because there's a special custom. Okay, I'm not sure why how that's not sure what's bothering him so much with the Pri Chodesh. I guess what's bothering the Pri Chodesh because when I say Raglayim with why the Pri Chodesh need to say because of Raglayim L'Davar. He's saying if you don't see Raglayim L'Davar, nevertheless, that's a special din. Obviously, since the Torah singled that out for special treatment. Okay, I don't think that's such a great question. But anyway, Umashikosa, that which Pri Chodesh did right, Kashlach Nel B'Soita, if you're going to have difficult lesson B'Soita, the Shani Soita Raglayim L'Davar, Soita is because there's evidence. The feet bar of Tikshe, the close fiction to me was Shusa Yochid. If that's the case, all the tomatoes, all the specific tumah, which we do learn out from Saita. Kisa, Kulam Yisrael, Kisa B'Shas. Vechi Matzil Mel B'Saita. How can we learn from Saita? Cave on the Sham Raglayim L'Davar. Because there's evidence. It's not true evidence, it's circumstantial evidence, but there's evidence. There's circumstances, a smoking gun, which indicates that something went on here.
Why can't you say the same thing about what he just said, that it's exerts cussive, so I can't wear it out because it's exerts cussive by Sota?
Right, but he could say that, but he's saying that he's attacking the Pri Chodesh specifically on this point of Raglayim L'Davar, right?
But how is that any different than what he said?
Because well, he's saying if you're going to say that it's in because it's Raglayim L'Davar, right? So then, why we say that's subject to Mishus Yachid is Tomei if there is no Raglayim L'Davar? Let's say you find the case like this. Same case you find you find a dead rodent next to your silver goblet. Same circumstance in Mishus Rab in Tahar and Mishus Yachid Tomei. You don't have a touch, you didn't touch. So there's no Raglayim L'Davar. If you're going to say Soita Sim because Raglayim L'Davar, you can't learn out any case where there is no Raglayim L'Davar.
Well, can't you say the same thing about exertus cussive? There's no exertus cussive in that case either.
No, because if you eliminate the idea of Raglayim L'Davar, so any exertus cussive, as long as it's not Shnei Ksumah Boim Ke'echad, right? You can learn out for any exertus cussive to anywhere else. The only time we're limited, we can't do this when you have Shnei Ksumah Boim Ke'echad. Right? Shnei Ksumah Boim means if the Torah wrote something in two places and it's the same thing, so it indicates to us that the Torah doesn't want you to learn out from them. Because it's Torah which is in one place and you would learn out from one place to everywhere else. So we would learn out. We're supposed to learn out from Saita, but we can't. He says the harder to go to this Raglayim L'Davar idea, all bets are off. You can't learn from Saita. Since it's unique. So Raglayim L'Davar it won't do any good with the case of the goblet with the sheretz, right? Okay, that's it. Says so obviously we can't learn from Saita. Doesn't say it's a custom, but Tuma. But it's we don't have from Saita because it's a Xeris HaKasuv. Betuma, the Isser Mituma Lo Yafinan. So he says that that's why it must come on to this idea of you don't learn Isser from Tuma, but it's not because of Raglayim L'Davar. Okay, because then anyway we just say it's only because of Raglayim L'Davar. We wouldn't have to say that you don't learn Issa from Tuma. Okay. let's see, that's what it goes back to this paragraph over here, right? Where it says so it says that the Isser Mituma can learn neither from Rishus Hayachid nor Rishus Harabim. Tuma is its own category. Okay, so therefore we don't allow anything with Tuma. Isser is separate from Tuma. Okay, but because we're on Perek Tesayim Elvis Tuma.
What does Isser refer to?
What?
When we say Isser, what are we referring to? Which case?
Any suffix which we have. Let's say we have a suffix if a tame substance. If a non-kosher, if a piece of pig fell to your trunk or not. So we can't reference whatever it says by it says the Shev Shmaytsa. Whatever halachas by tuma, we can't learn out from that. Right? You could say, oh, if it happened in my house, it should be taught, it should be treif. Because I learned out from Saitis, it should say okay. It happened in a big ballroom, right? So then it should be kosher. Because I learned out from Saita that it's the tar, right? Or whatever. Should be seen. So it says so you can't do that. Isser mituma le'afina, right? So therefore, isser mituma le'afina means there's no raya neither to the Rambam nor to the Rashba possible from tuma, because the Rambam and Rashba both talk about suffix isser, not talking about suffix tuma. Suffix tuma is its own category. Okay. Why the case of a Rambam? Perek Tesayim Elvis Tuma loch out the suffix mutter. The suffix tar b'shus harabim. Oh, so that makes us trouble, right? Because the Rambam seems to say, hey, you know why a suffix is mutter? Any suffix? Because we learn out from suffix tar b'shus harabim. Well, that means it seems that the Rambam is learning out the principle of suffix tuma suffix deraisa lekula deraisa from suffix tuma b'shus harabim, which is lekula, right? Which sounds like you can learn it out, and we do learn out it's from tuma. From this, somebody showing learn that the das around suffix minator mutar mishum di'otam mishus harabim. We have a suffix tuma mishus harabim. Avagav who used to be tuma. The question. It's by saying a common Perek Yudalad Ayin Shop. It says we'll deal with it later on. The question, leave it out for now. Okay, so they have another question. Bikshul Rambam Suffolk Mamzer. Kasach Monoletera. Tidisa Perek Asor Yuchsin. So it's a special discuss that if you have a suffix Mamzer, Midoraisa, anybody can marry the suffix Mamzer. Mamzer Vadai and not Mamzer suffix. The only Mamzer is also a Mamzer Vadai, not a questionable Mamzer. So the Gemara asks, so he says, a crow lumily. Why do you eat a pasuk? I don't remember what the pasuk is, but the came to call speakers ain't elimidi Vraham. Let's see if this is okay. Just put a new Shev Shmaitsa. Based on the source here. No, he doesn't read down the source. Okay, so anyway, we need a pasuk to teach us that. Because of mother that these keys of Perek Asur called lumily came the cause fakers ain't elimidi brain. So why need a pasuk? That's the question of the Rambam. Umarit, when we showing in T rates, the Sharia Rachmana Mamzer Legame Sharia. The Torah's Vade below the Torah suffix. So Marit comes up with a very interesting answer. He says that. And the question is what exactly this means. By normal suffix deraisa, when you go to kula, the isser is still there. And this is the point Reb Shimon makes, which we should probably introduce. Reb Shimon says that if suffix deraisa is mutter deraisa, what does it mean? It means not that you're not going to end avera if you were wrong, but you're allowed to take your chances. You want to take a chance? You want to eat the suffix cheeseburger? Go ahead. If you're right, you're lucky. It was good. We hope you enjoyed your cheeseburger. If you're wrong, you're going to burn. So, but you can take your chances. It's up to you. So that according to that, the Marit is saying what is the pasuk by something mamzer tell us? That it's not even taking chances. It's permitted. In other words, if it's a suffix mamzer, and it never becomes clear in olam hazeh whether she was actually, or he or she was actually mamzer or not, it's completely mutter. As opposed to the cheeseburger, after 120 years, it comes shamayim, they're going to send you down because you ate a cheeseburger which actually was not kosher. Okay, so that's what he says. The Marid says that he should be shemutar zvad lemutar suffix. Nafkamina shemutar bas Yisrael mamzer. So that's the case. Actually, suffix mamzer has the best of both worlds. He can marry both a fully Jewish girl and a full mamzeres, right? Because he's a suffix mamzer is a new category. Vadai mutter. And vadai mutter would be mutter to both, right? So, v'vasachas. I've got to be decisive, even though it's a paradox, it's too contradictory. Right? How can you mutter in a mamzeres on the one hand and a basis on the other hand? The answer being that no, because that's the special mamzer is a suffix mamzer is mutter, right? It's not taking chances. It's carte blanche. It's open. It's totally allowed. Okay, because but that's the case. So says the Shev Shmaitsa, it's difficult. The imkain trei kroi lamali. You have two psukim. Chaz lemishrei mamzer b'shtukis. V'chaz lemishrei shtuki b'Yisrael. A shtuki is a suffix mamzer. A shtuki means you don't know who the father is. So, possible father was a mamzer. So there, in that case, by shtukis, it says there's one pasuk to teach us that a mamzer is allowed to marry shtukis. A mamzer can marry suffix mamzer. V'chad lemishrei shtuki b'Yisrael. Another allows a shtuki to marry Yisrael. Right? Okay, so one is that a mamzer can marry shtukis. The other is that a Yisrael can marry shtuki marry Yisrael. And Perek yuchsin. The michad kor nafkale. So it should be learned from one pasuk. Okay, because came lati mamzer shtuki so lati shtuki so kro lo tzarich luchos fekas mutter. Because since anyway we something it's going to be mutter according to the Rambam. That's subject to rice is a kulami the rice, right? So, but all it is one pasuk. Kro lo tzarich luchos fekas mutter. El atiro bas Yisrael umamzer smasachas. The only reason you might need a pasuk, since she's muteris anyway, is to say that she's mutter to both simultaneously. You don't need two psukim. Why need two psukim to say that she's mutter? Here she is mutter in a Yisrael, or she is mutter in a mamzeres or mamzer. Even without that, the very fact that the rice our suffix should be mutter, he'd be mutter. Both scenarios be mutter means if I have another pasuk, that means that it's going to tell us that. It's mutter to both at the same time. So therefore, the marid is difficult. Marid can be good if we only have one pasuk, but since we have two pasukim, one for one side and one for the other side, it's difficult. Why need two pasukim? So that's what he says. Because if you're going to say he says the close fake is mutter el atiro bas Yisrael mamzeres v'asachas. It came chad kol nafik they tarte b'shtayim zushamanu. So that's the case I can learn from one pasuk. I don't need to have two pasukim for that purpose. V'chidush pnei shel perek asor yuchsin kasav li'ashem. He wants to answer. Oh, tremendous chiddush. My part of the chiddush. Because maybe she wants to say, you know what? You know I need a pasuk by suffix mamzer? Not because of the reason given by the Marit. In order to tell us that's Vade Mutter. But tell us even if the rove goes against me, which means it's a skewed suffix, right? Because there's a rove saying this person is also. Nevertheless, I feel like they can say, yeah, she's muteris, or he's muter, whatever it is. If you write mashkasa pri chadash, wherever the Chadash writes the Yitzchak Lemishre suffix mamzer, I feel like a chazaka. So he says, just like Pichader says that I need a plus. The matter suffix mamzer, where there's a chazaka, from a suffix gerushin, digo cheskas eshesish. In who I think hechadika ruba einsham. So he wants to say interesting svara, the Pnei Yehoshua. So Perek says that their pasuk comes to tell us that a Saferk mamzer is mutter even against the chazaka. So even though normally a chazaka resolves the Saferk for us, not in this case. In this case, they say it remains a Saferk, and according to Rambam, it can be megal. And that case gives a case of Saferk gerushin. Let's say the mother of the mamzer, she was a Saferk megureshes. Before she conceived this mamzer, she was Saferk divorced, Saferk not divorced. And then she went and had this child not from her ex-husband. So then it's a Saferk mamzer. But in that case, there's a chazaka. Chazaka when she was married before the Saferk gerushin occurred. So let chazaka say she's still married after the Saferk gerushin occurs. And therefore, the child should be usher, because it's born to a mother who's already married, right? So, and that Gemara says, I'm sorry, that he says the Perek says that even though it's a cheskas issues, the bus comes to tell me that ignore the chazaka, Saferk mamzer's mutter. So Bnei Yehoshua wants to extrapolate and say, other pasuk is telling us, this pasuk is telling us that a Saferk in mamzer, even there's a rove, it's still mutter. Which means that normally, in order to be matir a Saferk, according to Rambam, I need a balanced Saferk, right? 50-50. The chiddush in a Saferk mamzer, even 75-25. It's an imbalanced Saferk. She could still be mutter. Okay.
Is the Pnei Yehoshua saying the Maretz Chiddush even in a case with a rove?
Yes, he's saying even there's a banana. Yeah, banana say yes, but it's not clear that Pnei Yehoshua is saying that it's vade mutter. In other words, it's that it's definitely mutter. But he's saying even the extension of Saferk deraisa l'kulmi deraisa, when Rambam is even in a case where there's a rove that it was a mamzer, I can still be lenient. He's not saying necessarily that the issur is eliminated, but I still have the right to be lenient.
They're talking about two different cases. Different psukim are two different cases.
Two different cases. Maria's story about where there is no rove. He's saying it's a story about Saferk. He's saying the pasuk teaches us that it's a vadai heter, and the Yehoshua is saying the case is a case where there's a rove. But since there's some Saferk left, you don't know for sure. So the pasuk is going to tell us that in that case you can still be makel. Okay. Where there's a definite rove, it's very difficult, right? It's very difficult to say when there's a rove, you're not going to file the rove, even by Saferk mamzer. There's no precedent for that in the Torah, right? Whenever you have a rove eliminates the Saferk, because it's no longer a Saferk, right? It's not balanced anymore. So by them, it's not a Saferk. The Perek it says, Minalin Azlim Saruba, Asimak Avivimo. Dimalav Avivu. It's a good question. It says that how do we know we file a rove? If somebody hits their father and draws blood, we put him to death, right? I know the father's the father. The mother, you could see the kid was born from the mother. But before DNA testing, how do you know the father, right? Maybe somebody else is the father. So therefore, we go after rove. We say, no, most rove below Sachar about. We start that this was the father, and therefore we kill the kid, right? So you see that you use the rove even for din and fashos. And we don't say, well, there's still some vestige of a Saferk left. Don't do that, right? So it says, it's either because of chazaka, in being named of the Ruba chazaka, lo mani, the Saferk, I think that O is a mistake. Where's this? 1 second. Oh. No, so yeah, let's leave that. Okay, so it's missing the word rove. You see that? Okay, so we name it the Ruba Chazak Lomani with Safik Mamzer. We're going to say Ruba Chazak doesn't work by Safik Mamzer. In Lomash Kachas Kavadan. So then you're never gonna find somebody who's definitely not a mamzer, 100%, right? You never know who the father is, right? So therefore, you never have there'll always be everybody will always be in doubt. Therefore, he says that where we have a Roba Chazaka, of course, we follow Roba Chazaka, and it's not possible just because otherwise there'll never be somebody that's Vate not mamzer, and everyone in the world will be a Safek mamzer because we don't know who the father is. Okay, so it has to be that we follow the rove. What?
Why can't we answer the Pnei Yeshua that in the case of hitting your father, there's a rove and a chazaka?
You could say that. Maybe that's the way Pnei Yeshua would result. Maybe that's the way to answer Pnei Yeshua. Okay, but we're running out of time. So let's go back to this. We'll come back to next week, I think. I don't know if somebody answered Pnei Yeshua that way or not, but that could be. Okay, is it okay learning this? Good stuff?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll continue next week, Mir Hashem. Okay, have a great week.
So
Okay, bye.